equal to twice V during the positive half cycle. When the input switch is to the positive half cycle, the diode is reverse biased and behave as an open circuit. Since the discharging time constant CRL is much greater than the time period of the input signal, the capacitor remains almost fully charged to V volts, that is the input voltage, during the off time of the diode. That means during the reverse time of the diode. So what is the voltage across the load resistance or V output? V output is equal to this voltage plus this voltage. If you see the direction or terminal of the voltages, then this is a positive and this is the negative. So this should be additive in nature. So output voltage is equal to 2 V. So if you draw, then you get this is the 2V. Any doubt? Atanu and Man Verma? Positive temper? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear? Man Verma?
Yes, ma'am.
Atanu?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, transistor. If you have any doubt in the transistor, you can ask me first. Any doubt in the previous class? Why VB is 0.7? Actually, silicon is used for maximum transistor to make the transistor, and silicon barrier potential is 0.7. So we consider that VB is equal to 0.7. I think it is clear for everyone. Any question? Atanu, any question?
ম্যাম ট্রানজিস্টরটা তো আগের দিন পড়িয়েছেন, আগের দিন থাকেনি, আপনাকে বলেছি।
দেখো আমি একটা তোমাদের কথা বলি, আজকেও দেখো আজকে বোধহয় অরিত্রী বোধহয় বা অরিত্রী, হ্যাঁ অরিত্রী কলেজে গেছে, ও হয়তো দেরিতে জয়েন করবে। সে যদি আমাকে আবার কালকে বলে যে ম্যাম আবার রিপিট করুন, তাহলে আমি একই জায়গায় থাকবো, তোমাদের সিলেবাসটা আমি কি করে কমপ্লিট করব বলো? তোমাদের আনঅফিশিয়াল গ্রুপে এবং তোমাদের বোধহয় গুগল ক্লাসরুমে নোটটা আপলোড করা হয়ে গেছে। তুমি সেটা একবার ক্লাসে আসুনি তো তুমি সেটা একবার পড়ো, পড়ে দেখো তুমি কোথায় কোথায় বুঝতে পারছো না, কারণ ট্রানজিস্টরটা তোমাদের ফার্স্ট ইয়ারের সিলেবাস। আমার কিন্তু এটা কভার আপ করা উচিত নয়। পাওয়ার অ্যাম্পলিফায়ার পড়াচ্ছি, তোমরা কেউ ইন্টারেক্টই করতে পারছো না। আমি সেখানে রিপিট করছি, সেই রিপিট জিনিসটা যে এগেন রিপিট করে আমি কি করে সিলেবাস শেষ করব? তোমরা এই যে রিকোয়েস্টটা করে দাও, ম্যাম আমি আসবো না, কালকে আপনি রিপিট করবেন, এটা সম্ভব? একটু বলো তো, এটা ফিজিবল? হ্যাঁ, তুমি যদি বলো যে আমি আসতে পারছি না আজকে, আমার যে ডাউটগুলো হবে কালকে কি ক্লিয়ার করে দেবেন, আমি রাজি আছি। কারণ 2 ঘন্টার ক্লাস পুরো 2 ঘন্টায় রিপিট করা সম্ভব না, কিন্তু কিছু ডাউট হলে সেটা আমি তোমার আগের দিন আমি মানকে বলেছিলাম, ইউ শুড জয়েন দ্য ক্লাস 9:20. Collector emitter should be in reverse bias. Emitter is heavily doped and moderate in size, base lightly doped, little small in very thin in size, collector moderately doped but large in size. Okay, so emitter emits the electron. In case of NPN transistor, emitter emits the electron, or you can say emitter emits the majority charge carriers. Base is lightly doped, so in the base region, small portion of the electron, in case of NPN transistor, small portion of the electron hole pair combination will make, so base current is very small. Maximum number of electron will passes through the collector and we get the collector current. So we can say that IC, that is the collector current, nearly equals to the emitter current. Actual formula for or actual relation between collector current, emitter current, and base current is that IE is equal to IB plus IC. If the direction of the this indicate the direction of the current, okay, and this is the emitter, and this is base, this is the collector, this is the symbol of NPN transistor. In case of PNP transistor, majority carrier is whole and the direction of the current is inside. So, and this is a collector, this is base, so this is the PNP transistor. Okay. Next, forward bus, different mode of operation: active mode, saturation mode, cut-off mode, and reverse mode. These are the 4 mode of operation. Next, classification of transistor. This is a bipolar junction transistor, field effect transistor, uni-junction transistor. Detailed bipolar junction transistor will cover up by the Preeti ma'am, and I will cover the FET in the next module. Okay, this is the symbol of PNP and this is the symbol of NPN transistor, and these are the configuration of PNP and NPN transistor. Common base means we apply the input signal between emitter and base, and we collect the output signal from collector and base. Common collector, here collector is the common, so we supply the input signal through the base collector and we get the output signal from emitter collector. In case of common emitter is the common both in input signal and output signal. So we apply the input signal between base and emitter and we collect the output signal from collector and emitter. This is the common emitter configuration. So 3 types of configurations are there for NPN and PNP transistor: common base, common collector, common emitter. Any confusion up to this? Any confusion? Please respond.
Ma'am, wait a minute, ma'am. Wait a minute. Just drawing the figure.
No. You don't draw the figure. Actually, I have already given to you.
Okay, ma'am. Then it's okay.
Okay. So next, the input characteristics and output characteristics of these 3 types of configuration. What is the input characteristics? What do you mean by the input characteristics? In case of transistor or in case of any electrical components or device or machines, characteristics means VI characteristics. Normally characteristics means VI characteristics, but in case of machines, another types of characteristics they are related to that is the torque, speed. So different types of characteristics is there. But in case of electronics device, normally we say that the characteristics means relation between voltage and current. So what is the input characteristics? Input characteristics means relation between input current and input voltage when output voltage remain constant for all the 3 conditions. Okay. If we consider the common base configuration, in case of common base configuration, output voltage is base collector voltage, that is VBC. So when we draw the input characteristics, base collector voltage will be constant. And what is the input current? First, all of you consider this configuration only. In this configuration, input current is the emitter current. And input voltage is the base emitter voltage, that is the VBE. So changing of input current, that is the IE, with the change of VB voltage, when the VBC is constant, this is called the input characteristics. Clear? In the common base configuration, output voltage means voltage between collector and base. So VBC is constant. Changing of emitter current, that is the input current, with the change of input voltage, that is VBE, base emitter voltage. This is called input characteristics. Any question, any doubt? Any question, Atanu?
No.
Okay, so you tell me what is the output characteristics? When we say the output characteristic, input voltage should be constant. And we consider the output current versus output voltage. So in the common base configuration, what is the output current? Can anyone tell me what is the output current? Shreyoshi, what is output current in case of common base connect configuration? Please respond. কি ব্যাপার তোমাদের কোনো রেসপন্স নেই কেন? বিমান?
Yes, ma'am.
আমি একটা কোশ্চেন জিজ্ঞেস করেছি।
Yes, ma'am.
তো তোমরা যদি রেসপন্স না দাও আমি কি করে বুঝবো বলো তো? সবাই চুপ।
ম্যাম আপনি তো নাম নিয়েছেন, আমি কি বলবো?
আমি তো বললাম যে কেউ যদি পারো সেটা বলো।
ম্যাম কারেন্ট থ্রু দ্য কালেক্টর।
Current through the collector, okay. And Shreyoshi, IE is equal to IB plus IC. Okay, this is IE is equal to IB plus IC, but what is the output current? Output current is the IC. So when we draw the output characteristics of common base configuration, then we draw the IC versus VC common base, that is VCB. IC versus VCB, keeping the VBE constant. Okay. So here you see this is the configuration, common base configuration, and this is the circuit diagram of common base configuration. This is the input characteristics. We consider the base collector base voltage is constant, and at a particular collector base voltage we draw the variation of emitter current with respect to the VBE, that is the base emitter voltage. Then we get this type of characteristics curve. Okay, so what is the input resistance? Input resistance is equal to changing of input voltage, and ratio, it is the ratio of change of input voltage to the change of input current, that is the del VBE divided by del IE when VCB is constant. Okay. Similarly, output characteristics, emitter voltage, base emitter voltage should be constant, or emitter current should be constant, and we draw the current, collector output current versus output voltage, that is the collector current versus collector base voltage. For a particular emitter current, this is the variation of collector current with the change of base collector voltage. This is the output characteristics of common base configuration. And what is the resistance of what is the output resistance? So it is the ratio of change of VCB to the change of collector current. So it our output is equal to del VCB divided by del IC. Okay. Similarly, so what is the current transfer gain? Current transfer gain is, in case of common base connection, current transfer gain is equal to alpha. So alpha is equal to transfer gain, that means the output current by input current, change of output current divided by change of input current. So del IC divided by del IB when output voltage is constant. So what is the del IC? Del IC is equal to alpha into del IE. All of you write in your copy that del IC is equal to alpha into del IE, or you can say that IC is equal to alpha IE. IC is equal to alpha IE. This is the current transfer characteristics. Complete? Complete?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then common collector. Common collector means collector terminal present in input signal as well as in the output signal. So we apply the input signal between the collector and base. and we collect the output signal between emitter and base. This is the common collector configuration. Okay. So in this case, what is the input characteristics? What is the input current? Input current is the base current. Output current is the emitter current. Output voltage is equal to emitter collector voltage. Input voltage is equal to base collector voltage. Is it clear for everyone? Yes or no? Priyanshu,
Yes, ma'am.
it is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the, in this configuration, which one is the input current, which one is the input voltage, which one is the output current, which one is the output voltage? Okay. If it is clear, then you can easily find out the input characteristics and output characteristics. In this case, change of base current with respect to the change of base collector voltage when the collector emitter voltage is constant. This is the input characteristics. So here you see collector base voltage with respect to the base current when collector emitter voltage is constant. This is the input characteristics. Similarly, in this case, what is the output characteristics? Input voltage is constant, base collector voltage should be constant. Here you see base collector voltage should be constant, that means base current should be constant. Output current is the emitter current. So output characteristics in this configuration is emitter current versus emitter collector voltage. Emitter current versus emitter collector voltage. This is the output characteristics for different base current. This is the IB1. For a particular base current, we get this kind of output characteristics. For this particular base current, we get this kind of output characteristics. For this particular base current, we get this kind of output characteristics. Current transfer characteristics. Current transfer characteristics. Here, current transfer characteristics is equal to is the ratio of output current by input current. Change of output current. Del IE divided by del IC, and it is denoted by beta. So beta is equal to del IB. Sorry, beta is equal to del IE divided by del IB. Sorry, beta. This is not the beta. So okay. So current transfer characteristic is equal to, in this case, current transfer characteristic is equal to del IE divided by del IB. Okay. So next one is the input. Next one is the common emitter configuration. Common emitter means emitter is common, emitter terminal is common both in input signal and output signal. So here again VBE versus IB, and this is the VC versus IC. If you see the common emitter configuration, this is the common emitter configuration. So input voltage is equal to voltage across base emitter. Input current is equal to base current. Output voltage is equal to emitter collector. Output current is equal to collector current. Here you see base emitter versus base current, collector emitter versus collector current. This is the output characteristics, and this is the input resistance, and this is output resistance. Change of output voltage to the change of output current, output resistance. Change of output input voltage to the change of input current. This is the input resistance. So current transfer characteristic in this case, this is denoted by beta. Beta is equal to del IC by del IB. Output current, change of output current divided by change of input current. This is the current transfer characteristics. So IC is equal to beta IB. All of you write in your copy that IC is equal to beta IB. Okay. Now, transistor as an amplifier. How transistor acts as an amplifier? This is the input signal. This is the output signal. Okay. And this is the amplifier circuit. Inside these rectangular blocks, amplifier circuit is there. Input terminal, and this is the output terminal. In this input terminal, we apply this input signal. From this output terminal, we get this type of output signal. The main utility of transistor lies in its ability of amplifying weak signals. This is the main application of transistor. The weak signal is applied at the input terminals and the amplified output is obtained across the output terminal as illustrated in this figure. A transistor alone cannot perform the function of amplification, and some passive components such as resistor, capacitors, and a biasing battery is to be connected. Okay, so if only you have the transistor, you can't amplify the signal. So with the transistor, you should use the resistance, proper rating, range and rating of the resistances, capacitor, and biasing battery voltage source or battery is required. Common emitter configuration, because of its high current, voltage and power gains, is much suited for most of the amplifier circuit. Out of the three configuration, common base, common emitter, common collector, common emitter transistors are normally used for amplifier circuit. Okay, due to its high current, voltage and power gain, is much suited for most of the amplifier circuit. A common emitter NPN transistors amplifier circuit is given in this figure. This is the common emitter NPN transistor. Here you see this is the emitter terminal of this transistor. Emitter terminal is connected between input sources. So base and emitter, between base and emitter terminal we apply the input voltage source. Between the collector and emitter terminal we collect the output voltage. Okay, here this voltage source VBB, known as biasing voltage source. Biasing voltage source is required. Why? Here you see that input signal is AC. So if the input signal is AC, each and every half cycle, it changes its polarity. Okay, positive to negative, negative to positive. So during the reverse bias condition, diode, this terminal, that is the VBE, depends on the input voltage or depend on the strength of the input signal. This should be maybe reverse bias condition. In the reverse bias condition, the transistor can't act, or the transistor cannot operate, or transistor cannot operate as operate in the active region or active mode. So base emitter should be in forward biased. So to keep the base emitter terminal in the forward biased, we use this voltage source. This voltage source is known as biasing voltage source. Clear? Why we use VBB? Any doubt? Clear for everyone? Kritika?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The weak signal is applied between emitter base junction and output is taken across the load resistance RL. Okay. Connected across the series with the collector supply voltage VCC. Here collector voltage supply is here. This is the VCC. Actually in the circuit, this is the normal circuit. VCC is in the top position, but here this is the VCC. Okay. In order to obtain faithful amplification, it is necessary that the input circuit remains always forward biased regardless the polarity of AC input signal. Input circuit explain the reverse condition means Shubham. Yesterday you were present in this class. Then you go through the slide. Then if you are absent, then you should follow the notes. Transistor operates in the 4 mode. Input signal, the terminal where we apply the input signal, maybe NPN, maybe PNP, maybe common bias, maybe common collector, maybe common emitter. Input signal side should be forward bias condition. And output the terminal where we collect the output signal, this should be reverse bias condition. That means if input side is forward bias, output side is reverse bias, then this is called active region. Both are in forward bias, saturation region. Both are in reverse bias, reverse condition or inverse mode condition. Input is reverse bias, output is forward bias, then this is called cut-off condition. These are the 4 mode of operation. Okay, you please go through the. I am not discussing the saturation region in this portion. Okay, saturation region, cut-off region, active region, inverse region, Pritima will discuss elaborately in the BJT section. Okay, BJT module. I am only discussing the portion which are required for the power amplification part. So this side, that is where we supply the input signal, this side should be forward bias condition. But during the negative half cycle of the input signal, this base emitter junction may be in the reverse bias condition. So to keep the base emitter junction or input junction should be in forward bias condition, we use this bias voltage source. Okay. In order to obtain faithful amplification, it is necessary that the input circuit remains always forward bias regardless the polarity of the input signal. Input signal polarity positive or negative ho, this should be VB should be in forward bias condition. So we apply the bias voltage. This bias voltage should be in such a manner that it should keep the base emitter junction always forward bias condition. Okay. The DC voltage is called the bias voltage and its magnitude in such as to keep the input circuit always forward bias regardless the polarity of the input signal. The input circuits being forward bias has low resistance and a small change of input voltage del V in the input signal causes the relatively large change in input current, that is the del IE in the emitter current. This causes almost the same change in the collector current because of the transistor action. Because small portion of the base current is produced. Why? Base is lightly doped. So small number of electrons which are emits by the emitter are mix and combination with the hole in the base region. Maximum number of emitters passes through the collector. So base collector current nearly equals to the emitter current. So if we change the small input voltage, larger amount of emitter current will be changing. If the larger amount of emitter current will be changed, then larger amount of collector current also changed. So thus this caused almost the same change in collector current because of transistor action. The collector current flowing through the high load resistance RL develops a large voltage across the RL. The load change in output voltage across the load resistance RL may be many times the change in input signal voltage. the voltage amplification A is equals to the change in output voltage, that means del V out to the change in input voltage del V in will be greater than unity, and the transistor acts as an amplifier. Here you say with an example, let the load resistance be the 10 kilo ohm. That means this resistance is the 10 kilo ohm. A small change in 0.1 volt input voltage is changing. Okay, 0.1 volt input voltage is changing, just 0.1 volt. Due to the change of 0.1 volt in the input signal, emitter current changes 0.5 milliampere. 0.5 milliampere, you can imagine that the change of input emitter current is very, very small, 0.5 milliampere. This 0.5 milliampere emitter current will also change the collector current approximately 0.5 milliampere. What about the output voltage? Output voltage is equal to the collector current into load resistance. Collector current is equal to, because the collector current is flowing through the load resistance in this way. So collector current IC, that is the 0.5 milliampere into 10 kilo ohm. If you multiply 0.5 milliampere with 10 kilo ohm, you get the 5 volt. So change in output voltage is 5 volt. When we change the input voltage 0.1 volt. So what is the amplification factor? 5 divided by 0.1, that is the 50. Amplification factor is 50. So in this way, transistor acts as an amplifier. Another thing is that necessity of biasing. I have already discussed. Again, you see that for most of the amplification, transistors are required to operate linear amplifiers to amplify output voltage as a linear function of input voltage. I think all of you know the linear function. That means if we increase the 1 unit, then output voltage will be increased by x into 1. That means not the x squared. That means linearly increases. To achieve this, it is necessary to operate transistor over the region of its characteristics. Curves which are linear, parallel, and equispaced for equal increment of parameters. Okay, this is the necessity of biasing. Then you tell me any doubt in the process how the transistor acts as an amplifier? Any doubt, any query? Normally common emitter we used, NPN transistor we use for amplification purpose in common emitter configuration. Any question? Any doubt, Pritam Shi? Any doubt? Pritam Shi, are you present in this class?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, here is the comparison of the characteristic of transistor in different configuration. Different configuration: common base, common emitter, common collector. Characteristics: input impedance, output impedance, current gain, voltage gain, leakage current, output signal phase, amplification. First, input impedance. Input impedance of common base is low, near about 100 ohm. Common emitter, near about 800 ohm. Common collector, 750 kilo ohm. So this is very high input impedance. Output impedance very high, 500 kilo ohm. High, 50 kilo ohm. Low, 50 ohm. Current gain less than unity but usually more than 0.9. Current gain is high. High about near about 100, high near about 80. Voltage gain about 150, about 500, less than unity. Due to this reason, voltage gain is near about 500. So we use common emitter configuration for amplification purpose. Leakage current very small and 0.5 microampere for germanium and 1 microampere for silicon, and very large 500 microampere for germanium and 20 microampere for silicon, and very large. Output signal phase: in phase with input, reverse in phase with input. If you see the output diagram or output voltage waveform, in this case, that is the common emitter case, you see that this is the, when you apply the positive half of the input signal, you get the negative half of the output signal. This is the reverse. So amplification, output signal phase, in phase, that means in case of common base, positive half of the input signal, output signal should be positive half. In case of common collector, output signal should be positive half. In case of common emitter, if you apply the positive half of the input signal, you get the negative half of the output signal. That is the reverse in phase. Application for high frequency application, for audio frequency application, for impedance matching. Okay, these are the characteristics, difference or comparison between the different configuration of the transistor. Clear? Any doubt? Shubhadeep Gop, any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then power amplifier. Classification of mode of operation. According to the mode of operation, power amplifier can be classified into 3 categories: class A, class B, class C. When we apply the input signal, first we apply use the voltage amplifier, then we apply the that is the last stage of the amplification, we use the power amplifier. So according to the mode of operation, we classify the power amplifier in 3 categories. One is the class A power amplifier, second one is the class B, third one is the class C. Mode of operation, that means the input signal, if we apply the whole input signal, that is the positive half and negative half of the input signal, how much output signal we get. In case of class A power amplifier, when the collector current flows all times during the full cycle of the signal, the power amplifier is known as the class A power amplifier. That means output current we get whole the signal, that is meant output current we get positive half as well as negative half. Class B power amplifier we only get during the positive half cycle of the input signal. Class C power amplifier we get less than half cycle of the input signal. So first we discuss the class A power amplifier. Class A power amplifier 2 types. One is the series fed, another one is the transformer coupled. First we discuss about the transformer series fed power amplifier. Efficiency of the series fed power amplifier at the 30%, near 25 to 30%, very, very low. Due to this reason, we use transformer coupled class A power amplifier. Transformer coupled powered A amplifier efficiency is 50%. Okay, so class A power amplifier, if the collector current, here we consider the common base configuration. So if the collector current flows at all times during the full cycle of the input signal, during the full cycle of the input signal, if we get the output signal whole the cycle, here this represent the input signal, this represent the output signal. Here you see positive half, and during the positive half and negative half of the input signal, we get the negative half and positive half of the output signal. Okay. So this is the common emitter configuration, that just reverse configuration. So this is the common emitter configuration. This is the emitter. we apply the input signal between base and emitter. We collect the output signal, emitter and collector. Okay. If the collector current flows at all times during the full cycle of the signal, the power amplifier is known as class A power amplifier. This is the output. First, you know what is the class B. Class B, if the collector current flows only during the positive half cycle of the input signal, it is called the class B power amplifier. Here you see, during the positive half, we get this is also reverse bias. Here, this is a class B input cycle. No, this is a push-pull type. Okay, you consider this one only. Later, I will discuss the push-pull type class B amplifier. During the positive half cycle, we get the output signal. Reverse bias, reverse in phase, but we only get the only one half of the output signal. So this is called class B power amplifier. In case of class C, here you see input signal is positive and negative, but output signal is reverse in phase because this is a common emitter configuration. But we can't get the full one half of the cycle. We get less than one half of the cycle. Here you see, this is the less than one half of the cycle. This is the class C power amplifier. This is the basic difference. In case of class B, when we apply input signal, both positive and negative half, we get both positive and negative half in the output signal. Class B, we apply the both positive and negative half, we get only the one half of the cycle. That is a positive half in reverse in phase. In case of class C, we apply both positive and negative half of the input signal, we get only one half, only less than one half of the output signal. These are the basic difference. So next is the class A, detailed description of the class A amplifier. This is the class A amplifier. This is a transformer coupled class A amplifier. For this to happen, the power amplifier must be biased in such a way that no part of the signal is cut off. Okay, here input signal and the bias voltage should be in such, we select in such a way that we get all the input signal in the output signal amplified from in the output terminal. The power amplifier must be biased in such a way that no part of the signal is cut off. Figure 12.41 shows the class A power amplifier. Note that collector has a transformer as the load, which is most common for class A power amplifier. The use of transformer permits the impedance matching. Later I will discuss what is the impedance matching, resulting in transference of maximum power to load, example loudspeaker. Here you see transformer coupled, that means output side, output load resistance, that is the RC or RL, we connect a transformer, and secondary terminal of the transformer is connected to the load. Here load is the loudspeaker. 12.42 shows the class A operation of AC load line. Oh, what is the load line? Okay, what is load line? I will discuss later. Class A operation in terms of AC load line. The operating point Q is so selected. Wait a minute. I am again discussing the load line first. Two types of load lines are there. One is the DC load line, another is the AC load line. What is load line? First, you know what is load line. This is the transistor. When a value of maximum possible collector current is considered, that point will be present on the y-axis, which is nothing but the saturation point. As well, when a value for the maximum possible collector emitter voltage is considered, that point will be the present on the x-axis, which is the cutoff point. So if you consider the common emitter configuration transistor, then at the point where we get the maximum amount of collector current, this point is known as the saturation point in the y-axis. In common emitter configuration, you see the common emitter configuration. This is a common emitter configuration. We consider the output characteristics. When we consider the load line analysis, that means we consider the output characteristics. Output current is equal to IC and voltage is equal to VCE. So at which point we get the maximum collector current, this is known as the saturation point. At the point where we get the maximum collector emitter voltage, this is known as the cut-off voltage or cut-off point. So when the line is drawing these 2 points, saturation point and cut-off point, this line is called load line. This is the common emitter configuration. Bias voltage is there. This is the output characteristics of common emitter configuration. This x-axis denote the collector emitter voltage. Y-axis denote the output current, that is the collector current. So first we consider the DC load line. So at what point we get the maximum collector current, this is the known as saturation point. At what point we get the maximum collector emitter voltage, this point is the cutoff point. If we join these 2 points, this line is known as the load line. Is it clear for everyone? What is the cutoff point? What is the saturation point? What is the load line? Any doubt? Hello? Any question? Kritika? Please respond. Atanu?
Ma'am, not yet.
Okay.
No.
So, cutoff point, saturation point, and load line, it is clear. Definition: the load line analysis of transistor means for the given value of collector emitter voltage, we find the value of the collector current. That is the output characteristics. At a particular voltage, collector emitter voltage, what amount of collector current we get. If we draw in this way, then we get the output characteristics. This can be done by plotting the output characteristics and then determine the collector current IC with respect to the collector emitter voltage. The load line analysis can easily be obtained by determining the output characteristics of the load line analysis method. 2 types of load lines are there. One is the DC load line, another one is the AC load line. First, we consider the DC load line. So, DC load line present the desirable combination of the collector current and the collector emitter voltage. It is drawn when no signal is given to the input. This is called zero signal input. Here you see input signal is not present. Only the bias voltage is present. This voltage maintain the input circuit in forward bias condition, but there is no input signal. No input signal. Only the bias voltage is present. Okay. Consider the common emitter NPN transistor circuit. In the figure where no signal is applied the input signal, for this circuit DC condition we will obtain. If there is no input signal, that means we consider the DC condition. If input signal is present, then this is called AC condition. So the load line which we get when the input signal is the DC load line. Okay. If input signal is present, then this load line is called the AC load line. Okay. The output characteristics of such a circuit is at the different get this point, that is the maximum collector current point and maximum collector collector emitter voltage point. This is the procedure. By applying the Kirchhoff's voltage law to the collector circuit. In this circuit, you apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Here BCC is there to maintain the output circuit in reverse bias condition. VB is there to maintain the input circuit forward bias condition. Okay. Voltage across collector and emitter is denoted by VCE. So you write in your copy, that is the VCE is equal to okay. Current is flowing in this direction. In this direction. So from this circuit, you see that VCE is equal to this voltage plus this voltage. Okay. Again, you see this terminal is the positive terminal and current is flowing in this direction. So this terminal should be positive. Wait a minute. My window is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Window is visible? Okay. You consider only this terminal, this circuit. Here you see, this is the VCE. This is VCE. Current is flowing in this direction. This terminal is positive. This terminal is negative. And this is a VCC and this is a positive and this is positive. So positive terminal connected to the positive terminal. So what is the KVL equation? Current is flowing this direction. This current is IC. So VRC is equal to IC into RC. So VC is equal to VCC minus IC into RC. Is it clear for everyone? Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
তোমাদের রেসপন্স করতে এত টাইম লাগছে কেন আমি বুঝতে পারছি না। সো if you apply KVL, the summation of all the voltage source should be 0 minus IC. So when this output characteristic is equal to VCE, okay, when VCE will be maximum, if IC is equal to, here you see in this circuit you see this is the constant term VC because you connect here the voltage source. Here you connect the load resistance, so RC is also constant. Okay, so you can't change these two elements. So how you get the VC is maximum? Only thing is that if the IC is 0, then VC will be maximum. Is it clear? Voltage source is always, VCC is present in the circuit from where we collect the output signal. So you can't remove the VCC and you can So how you get the E maximum? This is the formula. Only thing is that IC, you can, IC is variable, depends on the IE. So if you make the IC 0, then VC will be maximum, because VC is equal to VCC minus RC. If some voltage drop occurs 5 volt and VC is equal to 10 volt, then VC is equal to 5 volt. But if this is 0, so this should be 0. So VC, that means if this term is 0, then VC will be maximum. Okay, is it clear? Hello? Is it clear?
Ma'am, your voice is cracking.
I know, but I can't help. My net connection is okay. My mouthpiece is also okay. Now, audible? Hello? I am audible?
Yes,
Yeah, ma'am,
ma'am.
it's cracking a bit.
But my net connection is okay. Okay, you just adjust it. This is a problem. Online class. Okay. So how? Yes. Okay. So it is any doubt in VCE is when VC maximum? Any doubt? Any doubt?
Ma'am, you're not clearly audible, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, now I am audible.
Yes,
Wait a
ma'am.
minute. Audible, I am audible.
Ma'am, your voice is again cracking.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
It's
Wait a minute,
lagging a
wait a
lot.
minute. This load resistance. Okay, so you can't remove these two elements from the circuit. So how we make, or at what condition we get the VC should be maximum? This is the equation. VC is equal to VCC minus ICRC. So if we make this IC 0, so this part will be 0. If this part is 0, therefore VCE will be equals to VCC and this portion should be maximum. So this value is this value. In this way, we get the cutoff value. Okay. VCC is equal to VCE plus ICRC. So VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRC. The above equation shows the VCRC constant value. The first degree equation, we represent the straight line. This line is known as the DC load line. Okay. The collector emitter voltage VC is maximum when the collector current IC is equal to 0. So VC is equal to VCC, and this is the first point OA VCC. And next, how we get this point? That means this point. The collector current IC become maximum when the collector emitter voltage, wait a minute. So collector current IC become maximum when the collector emitter voltage VCE is equal to 0. Then from equation 1, that means this equation, if this voltage, when the input signal is not present, then this line is known as DC load line. If the input signal is present, this line is known as the AC load line. This is called so as it symbolizes the output at the load. This line, when drawn over the output characteristic curve, makes a contact at a point called operating point or quiescent point or simply Q point. That means when you join this point is known as the quiescent point. Or you can see that this point is known as the quiescent point. This region is if you draw the output characteristics, this region is where the input current, that is the IE, is the constant. This is the active region. Above the active region, this is the breakdown region, and this is the region is the saturation region. Okay, this is DC load line. Any doubt? Any question?
No, ma'am.
Clear. So next, what is AC load line? From AC load line, you just actually AC load line, we just apply the input signal here. That means we apply the signal here. Here we apply the signal, and then again we draw the load line. This load line is known as AC load line, but here you see AC load line. When AC and DC load line are present in a graph, it can be understand that they are identical. They are identical. Both of these line intersect on Q point, quiescent point. The endpoints of AC load line are saturation and cutoff points. This understood from this figure. So how you get the AC load line? First you draw the DC load line, okay, and you apply the AC input signal. If you change the AC input signal, first when you draw the DC load line, there is no AC input signal. That means there is no input signal. Only the biasing voltages are there. That means the VB and VCC present to maintain the input circuit forward bias, maintain the output circuit reverse bias. Okay. Then you find out the maximum collector current. Then you find out the maximum collector emitter voltage. In this way. In this way, and then you just join the cutoff point and saturation point. This is the DC load line, and DC load line where cut the output characteristics, this point is a no Q point or quiescent point or operating point. Then how you draw the AC load line? For drawing the AC load line, you just fed the input signal to the input circuit. Okay. Then you change the input signal. When you change the input signal, output signal should be changing from this way. If you draw the output signal, then this is a maximum point and this is the minimum point of the output signal. The maximum point where cut the VCE line, that is the x-axis. This is the cutoff point for AC load line. And the minimum point where cut the AC load line, this is called y-axis, this is called saturation point. That means the distance from this point and distance from this point should be same. This is the, in this way you draw the AC load line. And you should see AC load line and DC load line should be connected, or when you draw the output line, the maximum and minimum should be vary, keeping the quiescent point at the central. This red line represents the AC load line and this line represents the DC load line. So, I am discussing the class A power amplifier. So, before I am going to the class A power amplifier, any doubt in the load line? You write down some sentences regarding the AC load line. Just like heading of the para is the AC load line. Heading of this topic is AC load line. When an AC signal is applied, when an AC signal is applied, the transistor voltage VCE and collector current IC vary above and below the quiescent point.
Ma'am, very?
Above and below the quiescent point. QUIESCENT, quiescent point Q, capital Q. So, point Q is common to both DC and AC load line. You just take a footnote that when there is no input signal, we get the AC load line. When AC signal is present, we get the, when there is no AC signal, we get the DC load line. When AC signal is present in the input, then we get AC load line. You just write a footnote.
Complete. Hello.
1 second, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Okay. So then you write when an AC signal is applied, the transistor voltage VCE and the collector current IC vary above and below the quiescent point Q. Up to this complete, I think. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then you write, so point Q is common to both DC and AC load lines. So point Q is common to both DC and AC load line. DC and AC load lines. Complete. The AC load line gives the values of VCE and IC. When AC signal is applied. Complete.
Yes, ma'am.
For drawing AC load line, take a convenient collector current change. Take a convenient collector current change del IC and compute the corresponding collector emitter voltage del VCE is equal to
Ma'am, please repeat it. Compute the corresponding.
collector emitter voltage change del VCE মানে ডেল আইসির জন্য কি আউটপুট ভোল্টেজটা চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে ডেল ভিসি সেটাই ডেল ভিসি ইজ ইকুয়াল টু মাইনাস del IC into RC. Why minus? Because this is common emitter configuration. Common emitter configuration, output response would be in reverse in phase. I am repeating from the starting of this line, that is, for drawing AC load line, take a convenient collector current change del IC and compute the corresponding collector emitter voltage change del VCE is equal to minus del IC into RC to obtain another point laying on the AC load line to obtain another point laying on the AC load line. Now the AC load line can be drawn by joining this point and point Q. That means so first you find out the DC load line, then you find out the Q point. If you know the Q point, then you apply the AC input signal to the input circuit. If the input signal is varied, then output current, that is the day IC, will be varying. Change of del IC, VC will be varying from maximum to minimum. So this is the maximum point, and this variation keeping the Q point should be in the central point. So this variation, if you draw this line from the Vmax and you see this line cuts the x-axis at this point. Okay, then you draw a line, straight line, by adding this point and this Q point of the DC load line. If you add these 2 points and extended this line to the y-axis, then you get this cut point. And this is the IC or maximum IC in case of AC load line. Clear? Clear for everyone? Akash Dotto?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Okay. So, then you write, that means now the AC load line can be drawn by joining this point and point Q. AC load line is steeper than DC load line. AC load line is steeper than DC load line. But the two lines আবার প্রবলেম হচ্ছে I am audible now? Wait a minute. Now you can hear me? Hello? But the two lines intersect at the quiescent point Q determined by the biasing. Determined by the biasing. DC voltages and current. DC voltages and current. AC load line takes into account the AC load resistance. AC load line takes into account AC load resistance, while the DC load line considers only the DC resistance. While the DC load line considered the DC resistance. AC load line takes into account the AC resistances. AC load line takes into account the AC resistances, while the DC load line considered the DC resistances. DC resistance and AC resistance are not the same. When you studied the machine, you should find out the DC resistance and AC resistance. So up to this, what is DC load line, what is AC load line, it is clear for everyone? Is it clear for everyone? Please respond, yes or no. From beginning. Okay. Again, I am starting from, repeat from the beginning. Okay. When an AC signal is applied, the transistor voltage VC and the collector current IC vary above and below the quiescent point Q. So point Q is common to both DC and AC load line. The AC load line gives the values of VCE and IC when an AC signal is applied. For drawing AC load line, take a convenient collector current change del IC and compute the corresponding collector emitter voltage change del VCE is equal to minus del IC into RC to obtain another point laying on the AC load line. Now, the AC load can be drawn by joining this point and the Q point. AC load line is steeper than DC load line, but the two lines intersect at the quiescent point Q, determined by the biasing DC voltages and currents. AC load line takes into account the AC load resistances, while the DC load line considers only the DC resistance. Clear? Okay, complete. Shreyoshi, complete. Okay. AC load line differs. AC load line differs. AC load line is steeper than DC load line, but the two lines intersect at quiescent point Q. Shreyoshi, AC load line is steeper than DC load line, but the two lines intersects at the quiescent point Q, determined by the biasing DC voltages and currents. Complete? Okay. Then AC load line takes into account the AC load resistance, while the DC load line considered the DC resistance. Okay. So now go to the Power amplifier. Class A power amplifier. So this is the AC load line. This is the input signal and this is the output signal. From the output signal, we get these 2 points where the maximum and minimum point cut the AC load line. From this to happen, the power amplifier must be biased in such a way that no part of the signal is cut off. Shows the circuit class A amplifier. Okay, this figure shows the class A operation in terms of AC load line. The operating point Q is so selected that collector current flows at all times throughout the full cycle of the applied signal. As the output wave shape is exactly similar to the input wave shape, therefore such amplifiers have least distortion. However, they have, here you see, the input signal waveform nature and output signal waveform nature is same. Only difference is that reverse in phase. So there is little distortion in the output signal. However, they have the disadvantage of low power output and low collector efficiency. Collector efficiency is near about 25 to 30%. The conduction angle, that means the conduction angle is throughout the 60 degree because we get the output throughout the 360 degree. So class A amplifier conduction angle is 360 degree. So the signal distortion level are very less, allowing better high frequency performance. What is the collector efficiency? Before I discussing the class B and class C, what is the collector efficiency? Collector efficiency, this explains how well an amplifier converts DC power to AC power. When the DC supply is given by the battery, but no AC signal input is given, the collector output at such condition is observed as collector efficiency. That means collector efficiency is equal to AC power output divided by DC power input. There is no input signal. We only apply the bias voltages to maintain the forward bias in the input circuit, maintain the reverse bias in the output circuit. At that condition, what amount of power we get from the output circuit? This is the AC output power, and the power which is fed by the bias voltages or bias voltage source. This is the DC power input. The ratio of AC power output to the DC power input is known as the collector efficiency. Okay, that means at the DC load line condition, the efficiency we get with this is the collector efficiency. So DC input is equal to input voltage into input current, that is the VCC into IC. And AC output is equal to VCE into IE. So while VC is the RMS value of the signal output voltage and IC is the RMS value of the output signal current in terms of peak-to-peak values, which are often convenient values. Last class I have already discussed that. That is the peak-to-peak. First we find out the peak voltage, that is from datum line to maximum positive peak. Due to this, we here use the 0.5. Then we convert it the RMS value, that is the Vmax by √2 is equal to RMS value. This √2 is equal to 0.707. So in this way, we convert this voltage and this current in terms of RMS voltage and RMS current. So collector efficiency is equal to this. Okay, you just go through the transistor part and then you go to only the class A amplifier and collector efficiency. I will discuss class B and class C and also class A transformer coupled power amplifier and another terms that such as what is impedance matching, what is stabilization, what is biasing resistor. Okay, I discuss that terminology. total note is not completed, so
Ma'am, will you share today's slides?
yes, transistor slide. Wait a minute. WhatsApp. Oh. অরিত্রিকাকে আমি দিয়ে দিচ্ছি, অরিত্রিকা তুমি একটু দিয়ে দেবে। ট্রানজিস্টর পোর্শন নেক্সট। পাওয়ার অ্যাম্পলিফায়ারের এগুলোর দরকার নেই আপাতত। যতটুকু দরকার ততটুকু পড়ো, এখানটা এটা থাক। When I am completing all the power amplifier, then you upload this into the Google Classroom. Okay. Today is 18th August. Akash Datta is present.
Yes, ma'am.
Aritrika present. Atanu Shana present. Ayanabo Janina